Zoning Board of Adjustments meeting on September 25th, 2019. The next meeting will be on October 30th, 2019, here at 7 o'clock. Can everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Patrick, if you could read the preamble, please.
Sure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will proceed with the petitions in the order that they are listed on the agenda unless the board deems it appropriate to take a petition out of order. State law and local ordinances set out the criteria that must be met in order for this board to grant a request. The minimum requirements are outlined on the form provided by the Community Development Office, and the petitioner should follow this format to provide adequate justification for the board to grant the request. The chair will then open the meeting to hear testimony either for or against the request. All discussion will be between the speaker and the board. Please be respectful of all, and in the interest of time, refrain from repeating the previous testimony. No new documentation will be accepted by the board for consideration this evening, but the board does reserve the right to ask for additional testimony at any time. After hearing the facts from all the parties regarding the petition, the chairman will close the public hearing, and the board will deliberate and vote on the request before moving on to the next petition. Please turn off all cell phones.
And just as a quick reminder, all of the meeting notes are being taken from the recording. So when you're up at the mic, if you can make sure that light is well lit, it would be very helpful for us to be able to print out the notes. Anybody who is going to be speaking tonight, if you could raise your right hand to be sworn in. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you. So for the first order of business, we are going to be taking item number 4, a Chestnut Hill Property LLC variance under section 3.08.8 of the zoning ordinance to allow previously approved cluster subdivision lots permitted by previous variance to be allowed in the R1 district to be serviced by individual septic systems, whereas municipal sewer is required. Parcels are located at Bannon Circle and Ritterbush Court. Approved, not constructed roads in the R1 residential by map district. Tax map 5B, lot 002, 005, 007, 008, 009-1 through 009-71, case 2019-29. We are taking this item first because they are requesting a continuance to the October 30th meeting. Do I hear a motion to continue?
I make a motion we continue to the October. I make a motion we continue to the October 30th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All oppose? All abstain? 5-0-0. Motion by Rod, seconded by Patrick. So that will be heard on October 30th meeting. Next up, we have Joan Powers, petitioner owner, variance under section 3.02 of the zoning ordinance to permit a 2-family residence in the R1 residential by soil district, whereas only single-family residences are allowed. Parcels located at 143 Babuzik Lake Road in the R1 residential by soil and aquifer conservation districts. Tax map 5C, lot 082-04, case 2019-28. And before we get started, do we have any additional staff notes for this particular item?
Yes, Mr. Chair. This one's a bit of a unique case, so I just wanted to take a minute to run through things for the board's benefit. What we are dealing with, or what you're about to be dealing with, is a case that the petitioner's got to come before you to try to get a variance to convert their existing single-family dwelling into a 2-family. It's taking a step back, that's what you'd see. However, in this case, what ended up happening was back in 1986, the building department issued building permits for a conversion to a 2-family in violation of the zoning ordinance. So unfortunately, the current owner is now left having to correct that. So that's what this request is basically here for. Under normal circumstances, if this were a dimensional issue, it would just be an equitable waiver, which is a much lesser standard to meet. But unfortunately, that is only reserved for dimensional type items, so we have to go the variance route to get it corrected. And in your packets, the petitioner did provide, and you should have copies, of all of the permitting that was issued back in 1986, as well as certificate of occupancy. Again, none of that should have been issued because it violated the zoning ordinance.
Thank you. And if you guys could please sign in and introduce yourselves.
I did. My name is Joan Powers. I am the owner of the property.
Okay, if you could just tell us tell us a little bit about the property, and then afterwards maybe go into the 5 points of law, and we'll just stop at each bullet to kind
Okay.
of ask questions.
I have owned this house for 19 years. My husband and I purchased it as a two-family. It's always been that way, to my knowledge. And I have my permits. My husband passed away a year ago tomorrow, and I am trying to sell the property. I can't take care of it, it's too big for me. And I have a buyer, and we found out that it isn't listed as a two-family, to my surprise. So this is why I'm here tonight. And I did my back work, but
Okay,
I don't know what else to do.
thank you. And if you could just go through the 5 points and just stop at the end of each explanation so that we can ask questions if we have any.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
I'm not sure.
Oh, do you want me to read them? I'm sorry.
Yes, if you
Oh,
could read
I
if you could read.
apologize.
I'm sorry, I should have been more clear.
Okay, I thought you. Okay,
No worries.
granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest. It would not, because it's been a two-family ever since I can remember it. We rented it as a two-family, and then we purchased it in 2000. So 19 years we've owned it. The spirit of the audience.
Actually, if I could just pause.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. Does anyone on the board have any questions regarding the first point? No. All right, if you'd
Okay.
like to continue to the second one.
The spirit of the ordinance is observed because I am a widow and I cannot take care of the property. I want to sell it as a two-family. It wouldn't change anything, but my buyer wouldn't buy it if it's not a two-family, because he thought that's what it was.
Okay. And does anyone on the board have questions for that? All right, thank you. And if you could do granting variance would do substantial justice because?
I need to sell the property.
It's a good reason.
I mean, I do. I'll be honest.
Any questions from the board? No. Thank you. If you want to move on to number 4.
For the following reasons, the values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished. There is a two-family duplex facing my property on Patton Road. I have rented my upstairs apartment with the knowledge that it was a legal apartment. That is how it was when I purchased it.
Okay. And any questions here? Okay, and if you could go into unnecessary hardship?
Okay, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because I have to sell it as a two-family. No fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. Because I bought it as a two-family, and we always knew it to be a two-family. And now, I've paid taxes on the two-family home all this time, and now I need to sell it, and then I find out my buyer calls and says it's not listed that way. And I was surprised, so I'm asking for help.
Okay. Any questions to number 1? All right, if you could read number 2.
And it has always been a two-family for many years, and nothing will change. 19 years we've owned it.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay. So we've established unnecessary hardship? Okay. So thank you very much.
Okay.
And move to opening. All right, so what we'd like to do next is open the public portion of this and ask if there's anybody that would like to speak in favor of this petition. Okay.
I speak in favor of the petition. I am.
Have,
her
could you just,
realis- Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Cheryl Craig.
have you been sworn in?
No,
Okay, if you'd raise your right hand,
sorry.
thank you, and swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And have you signed in?
Yes, I did.
Okay, is the microphone lit up?
Yes, it is. Craig. I'm
Right, thank you.
Cheryl Craig, and I am her real estate agent, so I came with her tonight just to go over a few of the things that she has talked about. We do have a buyer, and we have a purchase and sale agreement, but if it is not a two-family, he is not going to purchase the property. So we were unaware, as she stated, that it was not a two-family because the tax card says, in fact, that it is a two-family, and she has paid taxes on it since 2000 as a two-family. However, the buyer had come to the town and talked with the building inspector and found out that it was not listed as a two-family. So that's how we became aware. So he put in the purchase and sale that if it does not pass as a two-family, then he will back out. So she will be left with the property.
I have one more thing I have to add, is that I am in the process of updating the septic. The septic was never done. It was the original or whatever. And I can't replace the septic, nor can I, and that's a contingent on selling the property, and I need to have it deemed as a two-family in order to get that septic done properly. So that's another point for me.
Thank you, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to speak in favor? Right. Is there anybody that would like to speak against this petition?
Actually, I'll speak in favor.
Okay, can you? Okay,
I'm Daniel Craig.
have you been sworn in?
Here we go.
And you have to sign it.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth tonight?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
And please speak into the microphone, for we need that for minutes.
Okay. The only thing I really wanted to add is,
I need you to have the microphone in front of your face, unfortunately.
okay. Sorry. The only thing I wanted to add to this, and maybe it would have some bearing upon it, but, you know, this also,
Can you just check to make sure the microphone is lit up?
it is lit up.
You can sit down. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe this will have bearing, or maybe it won't, but, you know, as my wife said, the buyer will back out of this, but another important consideration is, I believe the buyer's intent is also to occupy one of the units.
Yes, yes.
So I think that's kind of an important point that, no? Okay, well, then I'm done. Sorry. Sorry.
That was a valiant effort.
Well,
If it were an ADU, it would make a difference.
okay.
As a two-family, doesn't matter.
Okay, well, I didn't know how the town felt about it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak who hasn't spoken in regards to this petition? All right, in that case, we will close the public hearing for discussion and a motion.
I think it's pretty straightforward as far as what they're looking to do. It was a variance. I was surprised it wasn't like a equitable waiver or something like that, but
Yeah, again, equitable waivers only work for dimensional issues.
Yeah,
So
that's
that is
why
why
it's
they're
variance.
forced into the variance route for this.
May I
So-
add?
No.
Okay, sorry.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve Joan Powers, petitioner owner, variance under section 3.02 of the zoning ordinance to permit a two-family residence in the R1 residential by soils district, whereas only single-family residents are allowed. The parcel is located at 143 Babusick Lake Road in the R1 residential by soils and aquifer conservation districts. Tax map 5C, lot 082-04, case number 2019-28.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
All oppose? All abstain?
Thank you
So-
very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Very welcome.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Does she have to do anything further now for the septic?
I'll probably get a
Yeah.
paper.
So what's going to happen now is you'll get a decision letter tomorrow from us that
Okay.
says the variance was granted. There is a 30-day appeal window, but at that point, you're free to move forward at your own risk. So I would proceed to the building department and talk to them about how to get
Okay.
things finalized.
That's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yes, thank you.
So for the record, the decision was 5-0-0, made by Patrick, seconded by Kathy. So, fifth item, discussion of other items. Does anybody have anything that they would like to discuss? I had one thing that I wanted to bring up, and that's that when I was talking to Robert earlier about tonight, it occurred to me that it's probably not a bad idea to ask staff at the beginning of the of reading in the petition, so that we don't wind up asking questions that are related to something that staff could have answered, especially in cases where the petitioner may or may not be nervous to be presenting in front of the board. So, that'd be a good idea to do that moving forward.
Should we mention something about next month with the recusals? Just to give everybody a heads up. That we didn't have a heads up, because everybody's gonna need to be here if you and I have to step down.
No.
No? Okay.
So if there are people missing from the board during a meeting, then whoever is running at that moment in time needs to make the petitioners aware. So if we're in a situation where both of us have to step down and we do not have a full board, we just have to make sure the petitioner is aware that,
No, they have to have three, even if there's only three of us here.
well, if there's three of us here, it has to be a unanimous
Yeah.
decision
Yep.
for it to pass.
That's tough.
And there are some issues that if there's only three, may cause a problem, so
Oh, absolutely.
we need to have everybody here,
Uh,
including alternates.
If you'd put your
Sorry?
mic.
So we need to have everybody here, including alternates, if we have them, because sometimes you need 5 to make some decisions.
And in some cases, your petitioner themselves, they'll hold
Right.
for a full board.
Right.
And if
But
I,
in this case, he's never gonna get it if, he's never gonna get us on his
But
tax card.
But-
he can get 5 because we've got alternates.
Right,
So we can have 5,
yeah,
even though you two aren't here, as long as the rest of the alternates are here. So
that's 30 days away. We don't have to worry about that.
exactly.
If that happens, do we have to give them the option?
Yes.
Of continuing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we can't force?
No.
Okay.
I've had 3 people boards.
Yep.
And I've had people move their petitions,
Yep.
so.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a good point to bring up.
One other thing, November 13th and 14th, the Municipal Association has their annual conference up in Manchester, and there are sometimes seminars that may be of interest to zoning board members that you may want to take a look at what's there and sign up for them. I know the town covers it.
Is that the OEP meeting?
No,
It's
no,
different
it's
from that?
Municipal Association.
Yep.
It's a 2-day seminar, a 2-day conference.
It'll be taking place at the, was it Doubletree or whatever it is in Manchester, right downtown. A lot of the sessions that are offered at the OSI conference will be done here, as well as several other ones that have never, that don't appear at OSI. So it's worth taking a look at it,
Yep.
and let us know very soon if you are planning to sign up.
Okay, thank you.
Can you send out the? Yeah, from it. I've got it, but That's it.
Okay. We have a motion for minutes.
Approve the minutes as written.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
500.
All abstain? All opposed? So 500. Motion made by Patrick, seconded by Lynn. And
I move we adjourn.
Second.
do I really have to take a vote on that?
No.
No.